Okay, we are live. I guess we can take a moment to put the live link up and then we'll get started.
Yeah.
I feel like we're always so organized when Penrose isn't here. Not that we don't love him here, but
Yeah.
we remember to do things like this.
It's chaotic good. It's chaotic, but it's like chaotic good or chaotic neutral. Like,
yes, yes, yes. And that's why we love him. All right, hold on. I know I have this. Oh, there it is. All right. Give it a little bit more time and then we'll just go ahead and start.
Did you watch the All-Star game festivities?
Most of them. I did watch most of them. I didn't really pay so much attention on Sunday. But we were debating, okay, so do you remember when we used to watch the All-Star weekend and we was super geek for it, low key on the calendar?
Yeah.
And now it almost misses me, and in the last couple of years I've almost forgotten that it was All-Star weekend. Yeah, I don't know if that's in I don't know if that has something to do with the decline in the competition part of basketball. I don't know, but I started to hate how the East versus West games would be 179 versus to 199, because they were just letting people get their shots off. I like the new format a little bit because it's a target score.
Gotcha.
So it's so people are a little bit more competitive in playing. So I like that.
I think they need to just pick a format and stay with it. That would probably help. That seemed like it worked well.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And then yes. And then it gives more people an opportunity to play, because there's these two teams and then now it's these two teams. It was different, but I fuck with it a little bit. It brought back some of the competitive spirit. I always like the skill challenge, but that shit was whack kind of this year. Niggas was not, they just were not. And then I heard Chris Paul and what's his name cheated, so I don't know what's happening. But and then why for the no disrespect to the G League, but why are we letting a G Leaguer come and win the slam dunk contest for 3 years in a row now? And I'm not hating on him. It was, the first dunk was very impressive, but what are we talking about?
They're not gonna put him on a team. They just gonna keep letting him show up.
Yeah, we just need you for this. But if he's good, he's not good enough to be on your team. No, he's just good enough
to come dunk in the All-Star dunk contest, of which he's not an All-Star because he's in the G. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's an All-Star, but not that all of a star, right?
Just the all part.
Right. just all,
just all, not a star. Just
heavy on the all, less on the star. Okay, let's fucking get started. Hi, welcome to another live episode of All Docked Up. I am Chris. That's VJ. Penrose is hopefully getting on the flight. Delays because weather is weird and all that good stuff, and planes are so we're gonna wish him that he gets on this plane safely and gets home, and hopefully he's using his free Wi-Fi on the plane to watch us. Okay. All right, so VJ, would you like to introduce what we're talking about? What's up, Michaela?
Hi, Michaela.
How you doing? Thanks for showing up. We appreciate you.
We've had some trouble finding podcasts to bring y'all that are not 700 episodes. Somewhere.
Not podcasts, documentaries.
Documentaries. In the past, I don't know, I guess kind of this few years post-COVID, it seems like everyone has taken this mentality that the documentary needs to be 76 parts or else you can't capture everything. I'm looking at you, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace on HBO Max. Like, y'all need y'all's asses beat. This has gone on. Like, there cannot be any more to tell. And if there is, you don't need to tell it. Like, they just need to come out on TV and tell us. Like, nobody needs to know. Hi, Athena. Well, come have a seat. There you go.
Hey, girl. We got to get her own box. She needs a box. She needs a box on the screen.
So she can snore and like she worked at 14 at the factory in the box. Absolutely.
Yes.
All the time. But yeah, we've tried to not do that and take 70 years with telling stories. So we have tried to get things that are 1 episode, 2 episodes that aren't going to be, especially considering the format of the show. We're not here every week. So it's kind of hard to do something that's 4 episodes. It would take us, 2 months, and nobody wants that.
Right.
So we dug a little bit into the archives for one. It's not super old, but we did What Jennifer Did on Netflix. I believe this one came out last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Okay. This one came out last year. It is a very intriguing story. I will say that in the grand scheme of documentaries, this one's not long. It's about an hour, 27 minutes, which, considering...
That's a sweet spot. I think that's a really good spot. And I think that really shows... It actually... It's a sweet spot, but at the same time, it will make or break a documentary. Like, did you do all of the things that you need to do in this time? Like... Or do we have to be here for 3 more months for trying to figure out if Natalia grown or not? Like, I don't. At this point, like, we've been talking about it so long. Even if she wasn't grown then, she's grown now. Like,
right. Like, at this point, she's an adult and can tell the story herself. Like, there's no needs for intervention or like pixelating her face. Like, she's not a minor. Like, she definitely can just invite them to her home and tell the story.
It's fine. Like.
But yeah, so we did What Jennifer Did. Like I said, this one's not super long. I will say I think that it did the story a bit of a disservice. Like, it's well done, but there's a lot that gets left out of this.
Okay.
Like they do a pretty good job in an hour and 27 minutes, but it does cut a lot of the kind of more in-depth details about what exactly is going on with Jennifer in the background and some of the other stuff, which I mean, you still get the gist of the story, right? She's still insane, but right.
Wow. I wrote on my notes that I was going to try to find the 911 call just because I think it's a pretty interesting listen. Does a surprise ever go away when you like literally hear a psychopath pretending like they had nothing to do with what they're reporting? It's like when the boyfriend goes on the search and crying on TV. It's like when Chris Watts is like doing investigation stories with the investigation journalist trying to figure out what he did with his family. Like, does that ever like shock you that like people just have the gall? Like, bitch, I don't even think I could like lie that hard. Like,
it is a level of disassociation you have to have from something that you've done in order to be able to do that, I think. And I think it's interesting because you still have that subset of people that call 911 and they sound like they're lying, but they're not. They're just in shock or they're just a fucking weirdo to begin with. So it's hard to gauge because you have some people that call and they're just like, my entire family is dead. Could you send help? I know they're dead because
just like whenever
out here, like, it's, I don't know how soon you can send somebody. Maybe you need to send 3 somebody. Like, I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm going to go inside and get my coat. I'm not going to touch anything. And I'm just going to sit on the steps and wait for you guys. Okay. You want to do CPR? No, they are cold. Everyone's blue. I don't really need to do that. Thanks. I'll be outside. You have some that are like that and they truly had nothing to do with what happened. Yeah, and then you have the ones that are like sobbing and crying and like falling all over themselves. And then they're just like, the perpetrators, which is what you get here. You get a frantic 911 call from Jennifer. So when this opens, we are in Markham, Ontario, Canada.
Yes.
The 51st state. Alleged.
Not alleged.
Allegedly soon to become 51st state if some people have it their way.
Right.
So this takes place in November. This is November 8th, 2010. So the police get a 911 call from Jennifer Pan at the Pan residence.
I found it if you want me to play it.
Play it, girl.
It's about 50 seconds long. Hopefully you can hear it on my phone. If not, I'll try to pull it up on the other one.
I don't know.
Let's see what we got here. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's basically it. And because then it's after that, it's just like some clarification, blah, 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 blah. But that's all you need to know, basically. You heard her. You heard some like yelling in the background. Definitely a male, confirmed by her. It was her father. And she sounds like she might need some help. Now, truthful, on first listen, did you say, how did she call if her hands are tied up? On first listen, did you say that?
So initially, when I before this came out and just had heard it played before, when I first heard about the case, my thought is that her arms were like tied up, and either they had like used duct tape or something that she was able to like wiggle loose, or they had maybe tied her arms in front of
the front. Mm-hmm.
So she was able to, or she had waited until they had left and was able to like get loose enough to call or something. Which obviously then you could hear people screaming in the background. So this is still going on while she's calling 911. Right. But originally my first initial thought was that they had tied her up differently than what she shows us later.
Okay. So I don't even think that I was so focused on that part as much as I was on the fact that she's screaming. And if this is like literally happening, like it seems like you wouldn't be screaming if the people are still in the house, still actively, like in a hard whisper, bitch, so you hear me, but like I wouldn't be like screaming, like she's screaming.
Because my thought is, if this is all going on downstairs, you don't want to alert them to the fact that you've called the authorities before they can like get to you. Like if your plan here is to live, you can't be screaming for the entire house to hear. And they're like, "Oh shit, we left her upstairs with a phone." Like
right.
But we're gonna see that Jennifer, in fact, made some very poor choices throughout that culminates in how we get here. So this is probably part of the course for Jennifer, to be fair.
Absolutely.
So night of November 8th, Detective Bill Cordes, we kind of get a background on Markham, the area. Basically, they're saying that it's a pretty diverse area, but it's very low in crime, right? Like they don't have a bunch of crime or homicides, which is typically what we get with a lot of these documentaries, which is why they're documentaries, right? They're not going to make a documentary about a crime that's normal to the area.
Right. That's fair.
There's multiple double homicides going on like every fucking day. This wouldn't be wouldn't be something they'd be talking about for sure. So Bill gets the call. There's one person dead. One person's been taken to the hospital. So we're at the house of the Pan family, and it's Vic Pan and I guess Han Pan, because the white people in this documentary are butchering these people. Han, bitch, like bitch,
bitch Pan,
bish, bit. Like I've heard it called all. Like it was. They were they were junking it up, man. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, these people, one person's dead and the other person's like seriously injured. You could probably just take a second to get their names right, and they just were
I mean, these are one syllable names, which is what my issue is. It's like
they didn't
like
try
real
hard.
like yeah. So is it Bic?
Yes, I believe it's Bic, or that's the way that anybody that was trying was pronouncing it. So
right. So Bic is the mom, and she is dead. She's passed away. And then Han is shot in the eye. And he ends up being airlifted out of the home. And sorry.
sorry, dude.
Sorry. He's being dang, why you make me laugh? He's being airlifted and he's in a coma. Okay, so for most of our story tonight, know that your boy Han is in a coma, right? And it's given real Law and Order episode, like will he, won't he? You know what I'm saying? Like, so just all right.
So and that leads us into the next part. So basically, we have the mom who is dead, the dad who has been put in a medical induced coma that they don't know he's going to wake up from. So the police are,
right.
Chomping at the bit to talk to Jennifer because she is the only surviving witness, or the only witness that they can speak to at this point.
Yeah.
So they kind of mark this in days and interviews that they do, which I thought was interesting, but made sense, and it will make sense to you as we go on.
Yeah.
So they just have Jennifer in, and of course they're, they have the victim services advocate, Deborah Gladding. They just have her in for basically interviews. They bring her down to the station. They're like, well, tell us what happened. So they don't have any expectations here. They're like, this is a victim statement. We just want to understand what happened in the house. You're the only person that can tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So Jennifer tells them basically
this is just to clarify, this is immediately after taking her from the house after all of this has happened.
Right.
This is the first day, first interview.
Yeah. So dad's in the hospital in a coma. She's not been to see anybody. A thing that gets left out of this, and it's not necessarily important to the story, the way that it's being told here, is that Jennifer does have a younger brother. Believe he's younger. Might not be. Jennifer has a brother.
So they don't mention him at all in the.
No, I was like, Jennifer has a brother, and some of the way that he's treated in I guess comparison to the way that Jennifer's treated is how some of this comes up. But again, it's not necessarily preferential to the story the way it's told, but just something to keep in mind. He was not present in the house at the time that any of this transpired, but she does have a brother. So Jennifer says that basically her mom made dinner. Her and the mom ate dinner together. The mom every Monday goes line dancing. So she made dinner early. They ate. Bic hightails it out to go line dance. She was, doing Cupid's flex for him. It was real cute. So
to the left, to the left, to the left.
She was having a good time. So she gets back about 9:30ish is what Jennifer says. She says that Jennifer says she doesn't come down. She's in the room. She's talking on the phone, having a good time. And she hears her mom call for the dad to come downstairs. And it's at this point that she says she hears her mom call for her dad. She opens the door and looks out and is confronted with a gunman who tells her basically to come with him. He has a gun. He'll shoot her. And this is when she's tied up with her arms behind her back. And that she says basically these three men enter the home. They're demanding money and stuff from her parents. The parents are telling them they don't have any money. There's a language barrier. So obviously by the names, if you don't know, our parents are Vietnamese immigrants to Canada. And so Jennifer is saying that there's a bit of a language barrier and they're demanding money and asking for the mom's wallet, and she's not understanding what that means. And so she's saying, do you want my purse? And they're saying they don't really have any money. And then Jennifer says that these intruders say, you lied to us. You should have just complied. And then they shoot her mom and her dad. And then they leave. Yes.
So can we take a moment to, well, no, I don't want to get ahead. Wait, no, this is the same interview where she is asked to describe the guys.
Go ahead.
So, okay. So, so they have this first interview and then they kind of go back, right, to like start from the beginning. And then now they're kind of like nitpicking and getting like little smaller details. So they're asked about the guy who tied her up. She says he's black, he has dreads. Second guy, hoodie on, darker than the first guy. Also assuming he is black, right? I just wrote Jennifer, girl. Third one, Jamaican accent. Okay, so we're just all assuming that these are all some type of black people from some region of somewhere. But this is what I'm saying. Like, 3 niggas downstairs hollering, all you had to do was comply, or all you had to do, like, that's not, niggas would never say that.
It was just, the Susan.
No, sorry. All you have to do is cooperate. All you have to do is cooperate.
Whatever.
That's not a word that a like hyped up nigga would use. He
Well,
wouldn't say cooperate.
It's just everything about it was
Crazy.
sketch. And I think the police were like, okay, girl. Like, they didn't want to, like, they were like, well, we just had to go with what we had. So, like, okay. But I don't think they were buying it. And then I think they were just kind of like, and they mentioned that the entire, like, neighborhood is in a frenzy because they're like, are these random black people just doing home invasion?
Coming in and just home invading, bringing their black asses to our neighborhood and shooting people and killing people. But so not only does that sound fishy to me, but then like that's what I'm saying. Nobody says cooperate. Like they're not saying that is not a lick.
The robbery. Just cooperate and we won't kill you like that. Okay.
Money all you had to do was cooperate. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real. Okay, so but also there's stuff that's left in the house. There's literally a whole like wallet or something like filled with like literal paper money that isn't taken. Like there's a lot of stuff. Like they did like heavy on the murder, less on the home invasion. Like it just wasn't looking what she was saying.
Yeah, it was.
No forced entry, just looking real sketch, looking real etch-a-sketch.
And so if you are, masters of criminality like me and Chris are, because we study, we're students of criminality.
Period.
You know that when you do home invasions, we're not saying we've done any home invasions. We've just read about a lot of them. We might know some people that might have done some, but that's neither here nor there. Shout out to
that may be or may not be why I know that niggas don't use cooperate mid-lick. Like maybe I don't know.
Perhaps don't know. Maybe we're just gonna go with we watched a lot of documentaries and a lot of Dateline, and this is how we know. And I will say, like in college, in my apartment, I lived in the ground floor, much like I do now.
Okay.
But, our apartment got broken into. They kicked in the front door. The alarm went off. They took whatever was available to them and ran back out of the front door. Basically, they had just kind of been watching the apartments. They knew we all went to school with student apartments. They looked for an apartment where everyone left about the same time every day. They kicked the door and they took all our shit. Like they didn't wait for us to be at home in the middle of the night to kick the door in and kill us all. They didn't, like it wasn't. Granted, we had televisions and other shit, but if you kick in the door and you're, knowing the alarm is going off, you steal the stuff that's accessible to you. One of the girls had some cash or whatever on the table, $20, $30. They took that. They took some CDs. I think somebody had like a watch or something. Like they took whatever was accessible to them. They weren't trying to go through the house and like try to take the TVs off the wall. Like they took what they could grab and they left. And so typically when you do a home invasion, either you have cased the place and you know exactly what you're looking for, or you're going to steal whatever's available to you, which is going to be wallets, watches, jewelry. I think in one of the video or one of the crime scene photos, there was a safe in one of the closets.
There was a safe. Somebody still had their watch on. Like, no, like this was not a home invasion.
Cash, their wallets. And that's what was just, I think that's when the police kind of were like, because it didn't make any sense. 2 people got ostensibly what they thought were murdered, or that was the plan here, to kill 2 people for money, but you left the safe in and all the money. Like you left the cash. Like they had wallets full of cash and they left that. Like I don't know. Like Denzel
like
said,
the crime scene photo of this said money that we're talking about literally was like was like a monopoly. Like it was damn near fanned out. Like, and niggas did not take it. Like that's crazy. Like
yeah, I was like, when they do like
crazy.
the drug bust and they like have the money fanned out by the drugs, it was like that. Like they emptied these people's wallets and there's like hundreds of dollars, and it's like
that, and it's still there.
It's like, so y'all broke in to tell them they should have cooperated. You wanted to scream at somebody about cooperation and then just leave after you shot them.
But
very strange,
right.
Especially
but they kind of end,
according to Jennifer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, exactly. So anyway, after they're kind of getting to like the smaller details that she didn't. You okay? That she didn't say earlier.
Athena's over here snoring like loudly. Y'all can't hear, but she is going for it.
But they basically kind of end the first interview at that, right? Like, okay, girl, 3 black guys yelling cooperate on a lick. Money's still here, watches are still here, safe is still unopened. Like, okay, girl, go home. And they I guess the one lady, she's the one taking her home every day? The fucking
I think she was just
the advocate.
Oh yeah, whatever. Deborah, I think Deborah was driving her back and forth because Jennifer didn't drive.
Yeah.
Which is I guess they didn't have her driving. I think Jennifer could drive. At least I'm fairly certain, but I'm unsure about that.
Right.
So they basically are like, there's nothing in these people's, like, there's nothing in their house that's particularly like grand. They have some nice cars, their house is paid off, but they don't have the type of money that would make you a home invasion target. The neighborhood is not the type that you canvass stealing people's like jewels. It's not just, it's not that. So they start canvassing the neighborhood and they get a tip about Jennifer's ex, Daniel Wong.
Girl, the drug dealer. I'm sorry, bitch. Like pharmacy tech, yes. Like, drug dealer, I don't see it. He didn't last long.
So they get Danny down there and they're like, hey Danny, we heard you're into drugs. And Danny was like, yeah, possession and trafficking. Like it just is a straight, like he's just sitting with a straight face, like, yeah. I was selling drugs.
I don't believe you.
And then he was like, but I stopped, as soon as I got in trouble.
Like once the minute I got in trouble, I turned in all my drugs back to.
I returned my drugs to my supplier, and I was on the straight and narrow ever since.
I said, I can't do this. Couldn't be me.
Can't go back to jail. So sorry.
Cannot. Won't do it.
Now he does say one of the realest lines of the entire thing when they were like, well, how come you're so sure that your drug dealing didn't get the pants killed? And he was like, because nobody's gonna shoot you for a gram.
For a gram. Like nobody's shooting people over a blunt. Like that's not a thing. I'm trying to tell people that's the difference between like weed and like actual drugs. Like if it won't make you do something like this for it, it's not real sure.
Nobody's out here sucking dick for weed money. Now
stealing out of their mother's purse. Like right, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not tying niggas up over it. Like we're not doing it. We're not doing it. So he made a very valid point.
Like I was like, okay, touche then, Danny Wong, touche. Okay, I can see why you don't feel like it's that. So basically, they find out from Danny that him and Miss Jennifer had been dating for like 6 or 7 years,
right?
Up until like maybe 2 years before that. When they broke up, and Danny's like, well, her parents didn't like me. The way he frames it, it sounds like the parents don't like him because he's broke. Like he frames it as like the parents don't like me because her parents don't like me because I work at Boston Pizza and I don't have any money and this, that, and the third is basically how they make this sound, or how he makes this sound.
But then you have a family friend, Hong. I didn't write her last name down, but Hong, she's a friend of the family, and she says that the Pans are super nice, They didn't do any gambling, nothing nefarious. And like, it didn't seem from her description of the family that they would be so judgmental on a person that is trying. Like him having, like they're young, so him having a job seems like that would be better than not having one, right? Like, I don't think that they were as harsh on him as they are saying. It might have been other reasons, probably the grams of weed he was selling, but like, I don't think that it was like the fact that he was out here trying to make a honest living and it wasn't enough for them. Like, because I don't think Jennifer. Yeah, I don't think that.
I think that it seems like her parents did not want her to have a boyfriend like at all, and then like it just from. Again, like the documentary leaves a lot of this out, but she has very like helicopter tiger parents. They're immigrants. Like, and if any of you know the immigrant parents, like they expect you to come and basically they're like, look, we have toiled and slaved in this bitch for you to have the best opportunities. You're not going to squander this on some bullshit. You're about to like I think we have an interview with her, a friend from her school. And he basically is like, everybody's expected to be doctors, lawyers, you know, engineers. Like you're expected to do well. And if you don't do that, then you're basically a disappointment. So they were like, all this whatever with this man with the Boston Pizza job, like you're supposed to be a pharmacist. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing with him? What is this? Like, you shouldn't even be talking to him. Like, you shouldn't even be talking to this man. He should be getting 0 sniffs of your cooter, Miss Pharmacy student. Yeah, he is, and he works at Boston Pizza. That's very fucking crazy. They were not for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now Danny's has this where he's like, you know, that's the reason why, like, whatever, like that. He says that he also mentions in this interview that not only did they have, you know, the parental problem with their relationship, but I guess even after they weren't together anymore, they were getting these weird text messages, right? Text messages where he said he was getting them at one point 100 plus times a day. I don't know what the fuck all of the text messages were about, but it had to have been like something like threatening, I guess. And I guess I don't really know. They don't really discuss exactly what the text say besides the last text message that he got before Jennifer's parents got killed. It might have been a week, I think, before.
Yeah, and he said that he got a message that said bang bang or whatever. But it was my understanding, basically, we're just getting a bunch of calls. And the person they'd pick up, say hello, and the person would just not say anything, and the line would go dead.
They would be like, and then
like they weird. Like then they didn't say anything. Like it was super strange. And they're just like, okay, well, Jennifer does not tell us any of that. Like nothing about the hangups, the calls. They're like, hey, Jennifer, do you think there's anything else important that we should know about the fact that
she didn't even say anything about Danny? We found out about Danny from just niggas canvassing the area after, like in the time after the murder happened.
Yeah, it was super weird. Like she didn't bring up anything about it. And then we like sit with one of her friends from high school, and he's basically like, yeah, I don't think Danny was the best boyfriend. Apparently, like she worked an entire summer and saved up thousands of dollars to buy him a paintball gun.
Girl, bye.
And then the guy was like,
you can't make.
Like, go ahead.
You can't make money off of a paint, like it, like cause the way that she described it to her friend was like it was an investment in him. Like, bitch, he can't go make money with a paint gun, like a paintball gun. Like,
I guess
it's not a lawnmower.
If you're betting on it, but
what? It's not a lawnmower. It's not a laptop. Like, stop. What are we doing here? But like, apparently, like all her fucking money she spent on him.
And then said something to the effect if she didn't have anybody better to spend it on, and he was like, including
not even herself.
And I was
which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, her parents were doing a number on her psyche because I don't know how you worked for that long and just think that it's fine, just nothing.
Yeah.
So we get some grainy security footage from somebody's Ring cam, you know, as you do. Nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays. Exactly.
So, you know, and if you're doing stuff in a residential neighborhood, somebody's got a Ring camera. I'm just gonna let you know now. It's probably best to not do that because people have Ring doorbells, and more than likely, somebody's Ring doorbell is going to catch you coming or going, doing some shit you don't have no business. So maybe y'all should just straighten up and fly right. Just saying.
I mean, because if the house that you're not going to doesn't have them, the house across the street has them, the house next door has, somebody fucking has them. Like, you can think that you listen, they're next door to me, they used to have a fucking camera in their fucking tree. So, like, believe it. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. He needed a leaf blower. He needed some fucking clipper set. He needed something to. How is he even drug dealing? And I'm not even doing this.
A drug dealer with no money. Very
with
crazy.
no money, like
wild times, man. I hate it. Jennifer, baby, you can't pick nobody from prison, but like you should have picked better. This is just the beginning of Jennifer's poor choices. So there you go.
Oh, God.
You picked a drug dealer with no money, like, and that's crazy.
Who got scared out of the hustle so fast?
Then he started working in Boston Pizza. Like, please, everyone, just stop.
He didn't even have the heart, girl. He didn't even have the heart. So the security footage is from a house across the street, and it shows 3 figures. So there are 3 people that enter the home. And they go into the house. There is no kicking the door. There is no banging on the door. There's no ringing of a doorbell. They just walk in. Then they show us because I feel like they showed it to us zoomed in at first. So they pull it back, it looks like. And then you see it again. And then it might be earlier before the guys walked up, but you see a bedroom light kind of flicker, flash like a fucking SOS, like boop, 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 like one of those, like to let niggas know, I think, that it was okay to come in. Because then the boys come in, 30 minutes, 40 minutes pass, and then everybody goes, is it back out? And then that's the when you get the phone call.
Yep. Okay. So they bring Jennifer in for another interview after they kind of see these people coming and going. And so Jennifer does this interview, second interview. And this is when
this is 4 days after the invasion.
So she admits to being in this relationship with Daniel, and that her parents basically were like, absolutely not. Basically the same thing that Daniel said. She's like, yeah, they wouldn't let me be with him. She also suggests that she thinks Christine is behind the calls that she and Daniel are getting, which doesn't really make any sense, but
it definitely doesn't make sense. But Christine is Daniel's new
girlfriend. Yeah. Because to me,
but it also doesn't make sense, because if this was truly a threat, again, why wouldn't you have said this yesterday, or not yesterday, but the first 4 days ago when this shit first happened? Like, that's the thing. Like, when some shit happens to somebody around you, like, I know it has to be hard to be like, who could do this? But there's somebody that you could think of that could do this. And if that's the person that's been sending you threatening you via text message and phone calls, whether or not you think she was physically capable of doing it herself or not, like, you have to say that shit. Like, and so it's very weird that she didn't say that shit.
That would be the first thing that comes to your mind, especially if your parents don't have any enemies. There's nobody you could think of. Well, I have been getting like these.
I have a person that's been bothering me,
been stalking me for 6 months. Well, not stalking, but basically like harassing me via phone and text for 6 months. They'd have been like, oh, tell us more. Like, it's strange that she didn't say anything, but typically when people don't say shit about that, it's because they're doing it. Of course you're not going to mention it because you're the person fucking doing it. As a ploy to make you and Daniel closer. Oh my God, are you getting these weird messages and phone calls too? Like, she's not,
because he did mention that, like, they're like, oh, you're not still talking to her, like, well, we'll meet up because, you know, the text messages, like, so she was really like let's meet up and like talk about how disturbed we are.
How disturbing this is. And it's 100% because she was fucking sending them.
She absolutely was. Because again, his current girlfriend sending stuff to her. It's one thing if she's sending it to her, right? But you're sending it to the nigga next to you? That doesn't make any sense.
It didn't. When she said he was also getting them, I was like, yeah, because you're sending them.
That's why.
Especially because she brought up that Christine had messaged her from Daniel's phone and been like, well, hey, he's hanging out with me. Can you, leave him alone, please? So if somebody's willing to message you directly, what is the purpose of them calling and hanging up and breathing into the phone? Like, Christine seems like she's a pretty straightforward gal in my book, so I don't see her doing all of this just to be doing.
When she snatches the phone from him and lets it be known, I believe that she'll do that every time. I don't think she has to sneak around about it.
No. So her
and not y'all fighting over Daniel, like.
He's not even cute. Like, I know that's not important, but he's
not even worth it.
His haircut is kind of funky, and then on top of that, he fucking can't sell drugs correctly and works at Boston Pizza. Like, I just need everybody to calm down. Just take it down a few notches behind this. And I will say this. So she says that her parents give her an ultimatum, and they're like, basically,
Athena,
hey girl, could you just back up a little? Yeah, I love you too so much. Your breast stinks. Thank you so much. There you go. Yeah. I'm not going to give you anything. You know that, right? Like, I don't have anything in here. But after I get done, I'll give you. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're just going to hold hands for a little bit, I guess.
Okay. So
her parents give her an ultimatum, and they tell her that she has to either pick Daniel or them, and she picks them. Now, here's where I'm just going to let you guys know, dear watchers, we are not talking about a teenager. Jennifer, at the point that this all is transpiring, is 24 fucking years old. I just want to make that known, because
Athena's cracking me up.
She's not giving up, man. She's not. I don't have anything for you to eat. I'm so sorry. Here, your eye's crusty. There, I can fix that for you. There you go. You want to eat your eye booger? Will that make you feel better?
She's looked at you like, bitch, no.
Well, joke's on you because she's eating off my finger right now. You thought she wouldn't be interested.
You thought.
But she was. Okay, goodbye. Get down. Yeah, goodbye. Get down. Bye-bye. Get down. Get down. Bye. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
So we find out about, or I should say, Jennifer admits to the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend Daniel, mentions the text messages, brings up Christine, and then we also find out in this interview that she has been lying to her parents about going to school. So much so that she forged a degree from the University of Toronto.
So yeah, this is where it gets kind of insane, because remember, she also was talking to the piano teacher, Fernando, and she starts crying. And she's like, they don't trust me, they follow me everywhere, they don't believe me. And this sounds very strange, right? Like, out of context, for her to just show up one day crying, saying her parents are following her. So I went and did some digging. So
yes,
basically, Jennifer goes to one of those schools where, she, like the guy says, like, you're expected to like graduate top of your class. She wasn't. Jennifer used to be a figure skater, and she wanted to be an Olympic champion, and she actually tore a ligament in her knee, and that derailed her Olympic hopes. So she was doing that on top of the piano, on top of the other things. And she mentions that she had convinced her parents that she's going to Ryerson for undergrad or whatever it is. It turns out that she had got accepted to Ryerson on early admission, but it was rescinded because she started failing classes her senior year of high school. So much, in fact, that she actually never graduated high school.
Right. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. She says the whole part about lying about going to college. She actually had gotten early acceptance to Ryerson, but it got rescinded because she started flunking. Like, she started failing her classes senior year. So then she didn't graduate high school at all.
So, oh shit. So the boy, the classmate earlier was saying how this is a place where like you get straight A's, and he was saying that like Jennifer was like struggling, like hanging on by a thread. So
and she was forging her report card. So her parents thought that she was still doing well. And so the acceptance to Ryerson was true. It just got rescinded because she didn't graduate high school.
Golly.
So then
that's
she's
crazy.
Lying. Yeah, so
that's
she's
a deep ass lie.
She's lying, telling him she's going to school. But get this is the other part they leave out. So at this point, her and Danny are still dating. She's having her parents drop her off at school. And when they can't, she convinces them, oh, well, let me just stay, I'll stay down here throughout the week with a friend. The friend is Danny. The parents are thinking that she's in, because at this point he's going to school somewhere around there, but eventually gets kicked out of school for bad grades and obviously selling drugs. But she's being dropped off in Toronto, and they are like, they're telling her, okay, well, yeah, it's cool. Just go hang out, stay with your friend during the week. We'll come pick you up on the weekend.
Yeah.
So she's there. At this point, they trust her. Like, they're letting her go do the thing, thinking that she's going to school, and she just wasn't. And so she basically would like hang out during the day, like go to Starbucks and like fuck off. And she had like a restaurant job that she'd like go do to make like a little extra money. At one point she had told her parents that she was like volunteering at a hospital, and then they realized she didn't have a badge or scrubs or anything, and so they got suspicious. So then they followed her, and that's when they realized she was fucking lying. And that's when they started taking her everywhere, and that's when they found out about Danny. So it seems like it's just kind of out of the blue when she's like telling the piano like teacher this,
but it's not.
No, it's not. And as I said, they left a lot of the backstory out of this, which it's not horribly important, but you can, like, she built out a
context,
World of Warcraft of lies to her parents, like a whole fucking, like, I don't know, what are the kids, Minecraft? Like, it's like she fucking Minecrafted a goddamn world for her parents, and they wouldn't know she was lying. Like, it's crazy. So
I love how we just made Minecrafted a verb. Like,
well, she did it. Like, she absolutely did the shit, and they were just like, yeah. So she's crying like, oh, they don't trust me. Well, no fucking shit, girl. Of course they don't fucking trust you. Like, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like, yeah, she was a lot. It was a lot. And so then, she is telling her parents that, she's faking financial aid, faking scholarships and stuff, because they're like, well, don't you need to fill out any paperwork, for scholarships, for you to get loans to go to school? Yeah. So she's faking this paperwork, having them sign it, talking about, oh yeah, I got it. It's paid for. It's fine. Blah, 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 blah. So much to the point that when she tells them she gets into the pharmacology program at the University of Toronto at this point, so she's taking this above and beyond. My girl goes online and orders secondhand textbooks and is like watching YouTube videos and making notebooks full of notes so that she can show them, so that she can continue to perpetrate this lie that she's in pharmacy school.
So, bitch, aren't you learning? Are you learning right now? Like, you're literally writing notes. Like, are you not? Like, why couldn't you
writing notes like we do when we watch these documentaries? Sis had notebooks full of notes, showing them to the mom and daddy to perpetrate her lie that she was in pharmacy school. And then she printed that fake degree out of Canva and presented it to them. And she just told them, oh, well, I don't really want to do,
And this would have been easier than just like leaving. Like, she could have just, like, she was an adult basically, and she could have just like she was
ding, ding, ding. And there's the crux of all of this. If she wanted to be with Daniel Wong that goddamn bad, nothing was standing in her way.
Nothing was stopping her.
And went and worked at Boston Pizza too. Nothing was stopping her.
Michaela, girl, if you are writing semesters of notes about fucking pharmacology, bitch, are you not a pharmacist now? Like, have you not studied the work? Like, you can't, like, nobody can just mindlessly just be writing notes. Like, some of that is fucking, you're catching some of that. Like,
she should
have. Like, you could have just got it. You could have just done it.
It's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, they left it out, but the amount of work she was doing on the back end to perpetrate this lie was just not like I left home and hung out at Starbucks, like kicked it. Like, she was making documents, degrees, paperwork, textbooks. Like, that's a lot of work. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
So
you're spending the money for textbooks. You're spending the time to make these notes, but for fake.
Just to throw your parents off the scent. And it's just like, is it because your parents are paying for everything? Like, I cannot fathom. Like, I get it, but you're 24 years old. If you really felt like you had a future with this person and y'all could just be together, why wouldn't you just tell my parents, well, I want to be with him, and then just be whatever?
She don't even have to say that. Like, she's 24. She could just go work at Boston Pizza or wherever the fuck she about to work at, and then
save
just
her money and leave. She could have just taken the money and left. It was very strange. And come to find out that her dad, Han, actually wanted to put her out. Like, he was pissed, rightfully so. He was like, bitch, I'm done. He wanted to put her out, and Vic actually begged him to let her stay. But much
she demise for sure.
She participated in her own demise by allowing Jennifer to stay there. So this is when I'm sorry, I just had to get all that backstory because they make it sound like Jennifer
it's important.
Little white lies, and the parents was kind of like a little mad about it, and that's not what that was at all. It was a serious bone of contention. It was serious. They make it sound like Jennifer was just kind of fucking around on the weekends or whatever at at her community college up the road, and it's like, no, her parents really thought this girl was doing something, and they were pissed about it. They were absolutely 38 hot. They asked Jennifer how she manages to get out of her bindings.
They're like, hey girl, remember that 911 call when you was like, I can't because my hands is tied behind my back, but yet you were able to talk to us? You mind showing us how you were able to like do that? Like, here, put this in your pocket as a cell phone, and then put your hands behind your back and then like show us like how you did that. Like, could you do that for us? Like, that's kind of what they do next.
And then she says that she has her back to us on camera. She has her arms tied behind her back, as you would normally assume that one has their hands tied behind their back.
We are the banister. So right, so she's that because her back is supposedly against the banister.
Well, she says that her back is not against the banister. They've tied her arm. Like, her arm, her upper arm is like zip tied or tied against the banister, and then her arms are tied behind her back, which is the most ridiculous way I've ever heard of to like tie somebody up in my life.
Because why are we wasting tie material up here?
It was so strange. Like, they tied one of her arms to the banister and then tied her arms behind her back. It was so weird. And then they give her this flip phone, which I thought, okay, and this might be a continuity issue, but like later when they get a warrant for her phone, it's an iPhone or like a touch screen phone. He gave her a flip phone to put in her waistband. And so I'm like, well, which one did she have? Because it doesn't matter. She did the thing. But like, if you have a touchscreen phone in your waistband, I could probably get that out from behind me.
Yeah,
to wiggle enough to maybe get it on one side. I mean, to dial 911. I could yell at it.
If we're being honest though, if you have a smartphone, you can just crazily press a button a couple times and it would automatically call it for you. But I don't think that was. I don't know what kind of phone she had.
Like 2010,
it don't matter.
Not have been a thing, but it just was weird to me that they like show them with like a touchscreen phone versus like a flip phone. But I will say, if she had a flip, like,
Michaela, you cracked me the fuck up.
That's another part they left out because it was definitely burner phones involved and a completely different.
It had to be. It had to be because Daniel would have found her out.
So yeah, it was a lot. So they're just like, girl,
so she shows us
something,
right?
Now her arm
shows us something.
Now the banister arm,
but her arm is doing a lot of this though. Like
the banister arm is
her arm is doing a lot of like it's doing a lot of that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you weren't that, you wasn't that tied up.
And the guy was like, thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, girl. All right, that'll do.
He gave her that thank you that you give somebody when they've just done something like really shittily, but you're just like, thanks for trying. We
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming in. We'll call you. And that's definitely what that was. And then shit gets real because guess who wakes up out of their medically induced coma?
Dun dun dun. Han Pan. Will he? Won't he? And he fucking did.
Han pulled through, and he after getting shot in his eye. Inexplicably, he pulls through. I say it's just spite because he's like, I gotta wake up and tell the world what Jennifer fucking did.
Because I tried to kick her ass out, and here we are.
They wouldn't listen, and here we are. So he says basically the people come in. They have him and Vic on two different couches. They're hollering and screaming about money. They're like, what the fuck you're talking about? They're begging for their lives. He says Jennifer comes down talking to one of the dudes, like having a regular conversation. She pat on downstairs in her pajamas and her little footy socks, and they head on to the kitchen for a PB&J. They just having a good conversation. She don't look at her parents. She don't look their way. She just chatting up with Intruder 3.
the Jamaican, I think he was.
Yeah, her and Jamaican Intruder are just walking and talking to the kitchen. She does not even look her parents' direction to see what's going on, just whatever. And so the dad is like, use your police techniques to find out what Jennifer did, which, like, good for you. And that's
like,
where
do your damn job, nigga.
He's like, do your job. Find out what the fuck this bitch did. Like, that's your daughter. She's a bitch to me now. That's all.
Yeah. So this is also when the police can be like, all right, guys, this is not a crazy group of black people just coming through the neighborhood. So everybody can relax. Because again, guys, it's been what, maybe 5 days. Like, and so people are still very much on edge. Like, they don't see how
they'll be next.
Exactly. Because these crazy black guys are running through the neighborhood. But yeah. So yeah,
I have a question.
Let's see.
Why is it always when people like to lie about
why was I there? Like, why am I here?
Why are there always black people? Like, why is it always a black person that perpetrated the crime? Like, it's very crazy to me. Like, it's always some black guy did something.
I don't understand. Like, what's that? That Susan lady?
Susan Smith, a black man stole her car and rolled it into the river with her kids in it for no inexplicable reason that we'll ever know. The guy in Boston,
because a black man who tried to steal your car and your white kids in the back seat, he's definitely letting them motherfuckers out, and he's not crashing it anywhere because he obviously has somewhere to the chop shop.
That was the whole point in stealing it. Then the one where the guy in Boston had his pregnant wife in the car, and then he shoots her to death, and then says that they were like,
it says the black guy.
Yeah, black guy kidnapped them and the car and shot his wife. Like, they love to blame black people for like shit that we just absolutely did not. Like,
why are we always at the scene of the crime? Like, we really don't be at the scene of the crime sometimes. Like,
which is insane, because when you think about it from a like statistical standpoint, you're more likely to be like killed by somebody in the same racial demographic as you. But it's always white people saying that a black person did something to them, when stereotypically, like statistically, it's probably another white person.
And yes, but whatever.
It just really bugs me there. That's always their go-to, but racism. So not only did she do a murder, she did a racism. So look at you,
3 of them.
Multi-talented girl, just multi-talented. Except for when it matters, like being a pharmacologist.
Yes. So we're at 14 days after the invasion, after we get Han's information about what really happened. And they're like, you know what we should do? Let's talk to Jennifer again. We bring her in. Then they have Bill Gates, and he's like the lie detector. Like, I guess, like, he's like, a nigga never got nothing past me, ass nigga. So, yeah.
Yeah. So he comes in there and sets it up. He tells Jennifer that like the satellites that ping your phone are like x-rays. They can see you moving around in the house from your cell phone. And so he tells her basically, well, look, your daddy is awake. We didn't want to tell you, but Han's up. He's not asking for you.
At
because
all. He actually
at
doesn't
all.
want anything to do with you.
You know why? Because you definitely helped get his wife killed and tried to have him killed.
Yes. And this is also where Jennifer, I mean, because what do you say to that, right? Like, but oh, you got me. But like, she's like, she breaks down and tells him that she was the only person that was supposed to die. Another lie, because how are you the only person unscathed if you were the person to die?
Like it didn't make any sense. But she says they were supposed to come in and kill her.
She's been lying for so
making,
long that her lies have gotten poor. Like she's doing a
or like her
terrible
decisions.
job.
They're just getting worse and worse.
Just worse.
Basically, she says somebody that she knows is homeboy was paid $2,000 to come into the house and murder her. And they're like, well, how did they know to get into the house? Well, I text him VIP access or whatever. So what really happens the night that her parents are, attacked is this person texts her and she's like, yeah. So she goes downstairs where her mom is like soaking her feet from line dancing and acts like she's going to check the door. And really, she's just unlocking the door so these people can get in. So they come in and the parents are begging for their lives, and they just get shooting.
Yeah, basically. Now hold on. We do want to talk about how she got in touch with homeboy. It was Danny, because Danny's hard in the drug game. You know what I'm saying? So he got all types of fucking under fucking world connects and shit. So he somehow knows this guy homeboy, and nobody was black, right?
I want to. Okay, so it turns out that I think all of these people are of. Okay, so the one guy's Jamaican. They don't specifically say that he's black, but his name is Linford Roy Crawford.
He's Jamaican as fuck. He's Jamaican.
He said he's Jamaican, so I'm assuming he's black. And then they have some other people who I'm assuming he's connected with that may not be black, but I'm assuming.
So is it safe to assume that he is homeboy, right?
So he is homeboy. So basically, Jennifer and Danny come up with this plan. And they say that initially when they're talking about this, the plan is that they're going to hire a professional hitman for like $10,000. Because at this point, they're, like they say in the documentary, if her parents die, she's getting $500,000 roughly. Her half of the insurance, her brother would get the other half. And then if they sold the house, he would get half the proceeds from the house sale. But they're anticipating she'll get $500,000 if her parents are dead. They obviously can't kill the brother because he doesn't live there. So they're going to pay somebody $10,000 and get the $500,000, and then they're going to move in together and live happily ever after. And is what the original plan was. And then Danny tells her, oh, well, I don't love you like that. I love Christine.
Christine got that.
Well, Christine also isn't unhinged and trying to kill her parents. So I could see where maybe
fair enough.
Love.
Fair enough.
Basically, they connect with the Jamaican man, Linford Crawford, and he gives her a SIM card and an iPhone so that she could contact him without using her regular phone. So this is a backstory. So this is why there's the discontinuity between phones. The iPhone wasn't her phone. They gave her the iPhone as a burner, which is crazy. Why would you use an iPhone as a burner phone? I don't know. Y'all got expensive bicycle, they got what is it? Cadillac taste and bicycle money. Very crazy.
No, come on.
That's my grandpa. Because why you have a fucking burner iPhone? Like this don't seem crazy to y'all, or
he probably just stole it from somebody. I don't know. Who knows?
This is true. So Crawford, the Jamaican man, or otherwise known as Intruder 3, was actually Intruder 1 because Danny contacted him first. Then he contacts another guy who is, we find out, Eric Carty, who then contacted the next person, David Mugadam or whatever. So that's how they end up with 3 people. Like the only person that Danny knew was Linford Crawford. The other 2 basically like got tagged in by each other.
Real pyramid scheming.
Yeah, like you want to come in for a murder for hire, they're gonna give me $10,000, but if you come in and help, I'll give you $5,000. Okay. The next person, hey, you want to get on a murder for hire? I'm gonna get $5,000, but I'll give you $2,500. Like
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But yeah, so I mean, we figured out what happened, so I think we're at the part where the detectives arrest her.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Well, wait, what do you mean you arrested?" Like she seems very confused. These people are arresting her. So she gets arrested for murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder.
Mhm.
They all are found guilty. In Canada, like prison works a little bit different, so you just don't get life with like no parole. You get life with like without the possibility of parole before a certain amount of years.
Until a certain time, yeah.
So
So I
for
think
them,
they got it. It was after 25 years.
that would be 2035 would be when they would be up for parole. One of the men, Eric Carty, is actually dead already.
Oh,
Yeah, he passed away maybe like 2 or 3 years into his sentence. I don't remember exactly what the details were, but I do know that he died.
interesting.
But he also got less time than everybody else because he flipped on them and he basically said that he was the driver for the people that broke into the house.
Mhm.
So the Crown, when they prosecuted this, everyone pretty much got the same sentencing
Flat,
except for
yeah,
this guy
sentence.
because they couldn't establish who actually killed Bick and who shot Han. Like they actually to this day don't know who pulled the trigger. So that's why everybody got the same sentencing across the board, which is insane. But
But then at the end of it, didn't it say that they all were getting a new trial for
they
the murder?
all yes, so they all did get a new trial, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe that
Okay,
the sentences that they had were upheld. So
nice try is what I'm
yeah,
hearing.
I don't think anything. I don't think anything came from it. I believe they're all still
Yeah,
in jail. And the gentleman Eric
as
Carly died in 2018, so 8 years of his sentence he served before he died in his cell.
okay, okay.
But the other
And
ones
then
are
we
still in jail.
also get and then we also get a lovely factoid is that Han got a lifetime no contact order against Jennifer as he should, and he probably is really kicking himself for just not putting her ass out. Although who knows, like she's fucking kind of crazy, so it might have still ended up like this.
Actually, her and the brother both. So the her dad and the brother both have the no contact order against Jennifer, so she
Oh,
can't
good,
contact
good,
either
good,
of them. And she's also
good.
forbidden from contacting Danny Wong.
Yeah,
That little
because
tidbit.
Lord knows she wants to.
Yeah, that little tidbit didn't make the cut, but yeah, she's banned from contacting any of these people ever, which good for her. Like good for them. Like apparently her lawyer like wanted to fight this. Like her dad and her brother wanted the no contact order, and her lawyer was like, "Well, Jennifer doesn't want that." And I was like,
Wait, so
"Who
he
the
was
fuck
trying to
cares?"
fight
The no
niggas
contact
saying
order.
that they don't want to be around her? Like,
Yeah, like they were trying to fight the no contact order in court, like saying, "Well, why would they want to do that? Why the fuck wouldn't they?
yeah, like
What
you
if
shot
you
me in
get
my eyeball. Like
like
I got
what
shot
if
in
you
my
get
eyeball.
out and want like no, no, no."
Yeah, I don't. You're after like all the extra stuff. Like I really feel like they definitely did a disservice because I think it would have been important to know that she had a sibling. Like, because it makes me feel like they would have definitely had to interview him at one point, right?
Unless he
Even if he wasn't there.
I would assume so. I'm sure they probably didn't like bring him in. Like I said, I don't remember specifically if he's older or younger, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
whatever the dynamic was there, he didn't live in the home. And so I think that
Yeah.
the dynamic was a little bit different. He wasn't staying there, and I think he was afforded a lot more freedom when he was there. Like he could drive, and some
Mm-hmm.
points I think he was dropping her off to things. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
it made things very tenuous. Like he was being treated very
Yeah.
differently than she was, but for
Okay.
obvious
Okay.
reasons because they couldn't trust her and she was a liar.
Oh, like a crate. Like it's too much energy to be lying like that. Like and then like on a consistent basis. Like you talking about keeping a lie for like over like a year. Like you talking about 4 years of a lie, 5 years of a lie. Like I could never.
10 years a liar, 12 years a liar,
12 years of
12
a
years a liar,
lie.
not 10, 12 years a liar. I mean, it's just when you think about it, though, that is just some crazy work to spend all that time lying to your parents to the point that they take your phone and forbid you to drive or go anywhere by yourself. But again, you're 24 fucking years old.
And you're doing so much. Like, you're spending so much time, like, to keep up with a lie when you could have been, like, planning out your life, and it wouldn't have, it could have not been like this. Like,
because I know she mentioned in the show that in the documentary that her parents were requesting that she pay them back some of the money that they had given her for her education, which is fair.
right.
But my thing is,
it's absolutely fair.
Which my thing is that they're asking that, then just get a goddamn job, Jennifer. Get a job, move out, and start working.
She's like, no, I'm gonna kill him.
I can't be bothered to do that. I'm going to kill them for $500,000 and live my happily ever after with the drug dealer if they didn't want me to see, because they were only looking after my best interest, and
right.
And I don't have to pay them back.
And didn't she ask somebody else to do this though? This isn't the first time that she solicited somebody to kill her parents.
She asked a friend to murder her dad in a parking lot. Like, basically he's coming out of somewhere to like shoot him, like gun him down in the parking lot for like $2,000. She even like paid the deposit on it. It was like $500 deposit, and the guy took it and then just gave it back to her. Because I think originally it seems like what she asked him to do was not kill the dad. It was like to like rough him up a little or something.
Scare him. Yeah.
And so then when she was like, actually, I want you to murder my dad in the parking lot, he was like, oh, here's your $500. God bless.
Girl, because this is not. I thought you wouldn't put a scream mask on and like scare him, like make him pee on himself or something. Like, I ain't realize.
Yeah, like, break the car window or something. Like, not,
yeah, I'm cool.
Like, you sound nuts. So she did that, and then apparently at some point she also called Daniel and claimed that intruders broke into her home and gang raped her for sympathy.
To see if he would like come over there, like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
again, they left a lot of backstory out that would like show.
They definitely did.
That would make you see like this is. And I think it's because they tried to like show it through like the interviews and the way it unfolded, but
no,
Jennifer was doing a lot.
Yeah. So I guess it seems like you could watch this documentary, but probably go check the Wikipedia or like other things as well, just to get more backstory, because I didn't really realize how fucking crazy she was until VJ came in here with the extra facts. So I knew something was happening up there. Like,
right. I mean, because you can kind of see it behind the like dead-eyed stare she had throughout those interviews. So like you could definitely tell like something's going on. It's just they don't contextually tell you enough about her as a person for it to make sense. You're just like, oh no, why is she like tripping the fuck out? Like,
right. Exactly.
Her parents were about to put her out on her ass and they wanted their money back, and so she murdered them for insurance money. Like, let's just get down to the crux. She did what they all do. All the murders. Every murder we talk about on this show.
It's like here's the easy solution, right? But let's do this. Like, let's chance it. Let's see what happens.
Let's see how convoluted we can make this. Like, how easily can we make this like something that the police will look into and find us out ultimately?
How quickly will I get figured out? Like, and honestly, I know I bring up Chris Watt a lot, but like is he my favorite fucking family murderer? I don't know. That's a weird thing to say. But
mine's John List.
Oh shit. But so yeah. But like his documentary like showed me like how niggas can't get away with anything. Like how like the more somebody talks, like the more guilty I think that they are. And that's not a good thing to think, but like that's almost, I can like check off boxes like of how often that happens. Like, or
they always, again, like even with Chris Watts, they always try to deflect the blame away from them, even though they're caught.
Oh yeah.
They have to create another story, because remember his was he caught Shanann girls, and then that's why I had to kill her. So then in Jennifer's story, it's, oh, well, they were only supposed to come and kill me. Right. So it's always that, or, oh, I didn't, or I didn't rape that person, that wasn't part of it. Like, it's always something to make it less worse than it is, or like make themselves look better. And it's like, well, at this point, how much better could you look? Like,
no, yeah, exactly. Like you're caught, give it up. But yeah. So guys, that's what Jennifer did.
Jennifer
It's
did a
on
lot.
Netflix. She did a hell of a lot. She did a lot and nothing. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but
I don't believe Jennifer. Like, to be fair, like Jennifer was a complete psychopath and needed to
yes,
like see the lady, but Jennifer also did not pull the trigger. Like,
I don't think that she killed her parents. I definitely think that she orchestrated it and like definitely wanted it to happen, but I don't think that she did any of it. And
no,
then, honestly, if she did, her dad would have said it,
I think truthfully that Danny got the same sentence as her, but I feel like Danny is the mastermind of this.
But Danny was, why was, see, this is why I'm thinking like maybe they left more stuff out, because all of Danny's first interview is just like how he detests her and can't stand her. Like, was that part of a lie? Because like, why are you doing so much for a bitch that you're not fucking with like that? Like,
I don't think he fucked with her like that, but because he had like the way she acted about him, like led me to, like you were saying, she has like low self-esteem. She spent her entire like summer savings on a paintball gun, and everything has said
right.
he wasn't a great. I think that she was like down bad for this man to the point that he knew he could pretty much do whatever the fuck he wanted to. So I'm not saying she's an innocent bystander in this, but I think he coaxed her along like, oh, well, if we murder your parents, you would get like $500,000, and then we could move in together and you could go back to school, or we could get married, or we could have a real relationship, whatever bullshit she wanted to hear to get her over the hump. Like, this was her idea. But then once he had kind of started put the plays in motion, he's like, well, I could have $500,000 because she would let me do whatever I wanted with it.
Right. She let me buy all the paintball guns in the world.
Yeah, he's like, I can have all kinds of paintball guns if I help her murder her parents. So now I can't let her back out. Now I have to make her do it. At one point, I think she did try to back out. And he was like, I thought you wanted.
Oh yeah, he was like, bitch, already. Yeah, and he was basically like I can't do nothing to stop it now. Like that's kind of how he acted.
So I'm thinking that it just like he was trying to figure out how he could get his cut once her parents were gone. Like he was going to hone in and rub her back and be like, it's okay. I'm not going to tell the police, and we should just be together, and you don't have to tell the police, and we can just spend the $1 million.
Yeah.
Until inevitably one of them got mad and told on the other one, because they always do.
That's how that works.
That is.
So that's it, really, guys. That's what Jennifer did. It's on Netflix. And go watch it if you want, but definitely go look up the actual information, because there's definitely a lot missing, and it actually makes more sense now that I have all of these missing pieces kind of put in place. So
where can they find you, Chris?
You guys can find me on IG, Chris __ that's KHRIS. Also, please check out 420 in Vegas pod on IG, anywhere that you listen to dope podcasts. And VJ, where can they find you?
I am at VJ _ Burton on all of the platforms. You can also follow Murder V Wrote. That's Murder VE Wrote. I said I was going to have some new content for you guys. Life has been lifing, and let me tell you, I was on a deadline at work. So now that the deadline is passed and everything's good, and I don't have any ulcers, I think we're in the clear. So
good job.
New content soon. So yay. Penrose is a lot of places, and I don't have the handles for him right now, but
Penrose Eames, like most places, I think that is it. Sorry, Penrose.
I think that's right. Ed Penrose Eames. You can catch him all the places.
Yeah.
Things.
All the things.
And then of course you can catch us here.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't really know that we have like a set like way it's going, but it looks like so far it's always going to be on Monday evenings. So unless like some big sports thing is happening, but that's it. We will see you guys later. Thanks for checking in with All Docked Up. We really appreciate you. Make sure that you are, if you have not subscribed to our channel, make sure you do. Tell a friend. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.